let's move on and let's get into the story of the hour. Let us talk about Miss Shangela, who has been accused yet again of SA. There's a new civil lawsuit that broke out. It broke this morning. So, and Rolling Stone had the exclusive report. I believe other people were someone I know, Out Magazine. They said they also saw the court documents or something or another. But shout out to all y'all that have been reporting on this. So now, less than a year after Rolling Stone's investigation into former RuPaul's Drag Race star Shangela LaQuifa Wadley uncovered SA allegations from 5 accusers, along with a separate civil lawsuit settlement, the celebrity drag performer is facing their second sexual SA lawsuit. Forgotten certain algorithm words. Now, Eric Poff, who is 35, who performs under. Oh, okay. I was about to say, now this article actually comes from Dakota Payne, who I have talked about previously on the show. I didn't know his actual government name. You know, I be knowing my porn stars and I do associate Kiki with the girls, but I don't be knowing people government because I just don't know what, like my friend David Laugh, I forgot what his actual name is, but he changed his name in the courts and all that other stuff. So just like Chris Avalon, that's my name, my stage name. But my name actually is Chris. It's Christopher. But anyway, this ain't about me. So apparently we did talk about this previously. Dakota Payne had mentioned that he was assaulted by um Shangela, but now he's actually filed the official paperwork. So he filed a civil lawsuit against Darius Jeremy Pierce, DJ for short. Wait, Chandler's 44? Why did I think she was younger than that? In New York Supreme Court, according to documents obtained by Rolling Stone. Now, Puff alleged Pierce SA'd him while the two worked together on the revenge comedy film Hurricane Bianca 2 in October 2017. Now, I remember when this story came out too, Bianca was in the comments and said that, I'm sorry that this happened to you and all this other stuff. She didn't immediately go and say, oh, I don't believe this and blah, 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 blah. She basically immediately was like, I'm here for Dakota. And for the many people that I know that know Dakota, I'd heard this story also, and I believe it. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I had another person, and I told you, in addition to me interviewing Daniel McGarrigle, who was also mentioned in this article, and their case has been sealed, he can't refile, all that other stuff. And I even spoke with Daniel like a couple of months ago. He had sent me an email. I'm trying to think maybe in December or January. I don't remember off the top of my head. But we've been emailing back and forth. Also, when it came down, there's another adult film star who messaged me and we had a conversation. He told me some stuff that said that was similar, where they were out at a party or whatever. And he was a little handsy, slipped something in his drink. There was a whole situation where he was assaulted. So I believe every aspect of this because I know from a very reliable source that this happened to. So now in the new filing, Plav and a production assistant on the film claims he had 1 or 2 drinks with Pierce during a night out in New York. Now also remember when we talk about production assistant, that was also the profession that Daniel McGarrigle had when he worked on We Are Here. Now, according to the complaint, Pop's drink was spiked. The complaint does not indicate who he felt was responsible, and he blacked out thereafter. Maybe he used that Diddy juice. Now, when he allegedly regained consciousness, he found himself in Pierce's hotel room, and an unknown man was assaulting him. After Pop started to, I'm going to just call him Dakota. After Dakota started to fade into consciousness, he was bent over a bed, anally penetrated without consent by John Doe, with Pierce watching from the corner of the room. The lawsuit states Pierce would then anally penetrated Dakota without his consent. The John Doe is also listed as a defendant in the lawsuit. Dakota claims that after the SA, Pierce sent him money via PayPal. Okay. Now this, I'm going to have to beat your ass because first of all, how you go and assault me after you had a John Doe do it and had the nerve to send me fucking money through a PayPal? I'm getting heated as I'm reading this, but I got to keep my composure and my professionalism. Now, Pierce's attorney, Andrew Bretler, did not immediately reply to a request for comment on Dakota's lawsuit, but Pierce has consistently denied any allegations of misconduct. Last year, Pierce called the March 2024 claims false and unsupported by any evidence or reliable witness testimony. Well, it was you, the John Doe, and Dakota, who was under the influence of an unknown substance. What um reliable witnesses are you going to talk about? You think the person that was assaulting him, probably some guy he didn't even know that you knew, had them come up in there, maybe it was a random, and some stuff will happen. I don't know what was in the drugs or whatever, what you drugged him with. But if you are incapacitated, you cannot consent to any kind of sexual activity. And we're not going to sit up and act like that gay men do not get assaulted sexually in this country. It happens a lot, more than people realize. So now, since 2010, Pierce's drag persona has been the central figure of the reality TV circuit. Shangela competed on the second and third seasons of Drag Race and quickly turned her success into a dazzling film and television resume. Shangela received features in A Star is Born, Broad City, and Glee, and competed on Drag Race All Stars 3, and she was also on Dancing with the Stars. So now Pierce has, and this is where I think why this bitch still gets gigs in and around the United States and probably abroad, because she advocated for LGBTQ rights, including co-hosting We're Here. And didn't she also get a recent, wasn't she also at some queer event where they had her hosting or something or other, like some fundraiser or whatever? So a lot of y'all like to look the other way because she's a big name and still giving her gigs. Because if I'm not mistaken, Dakota, where this all stemmed from, there was something that was going on and Dakota happened to, she was there and it triggered him, which is where, if I'm not mistaken, this all came from. Because if I can remember back, he discussed this on his Instagram. It's me literally trying to remember from my brain. But if I'm mistaken, definitely let me know in the comments if y'all actually remember. So now they said that for its first 3 seasons and performing as a headliner at dozens of charitable concerts, but offstage, the drag star has faced multiple SA allegations in the past 2 years. And doesn't this always seem to be the case with a lot of people who assault others? Like, we've heard how many times Diddy has given to charity and so many other assaulters, where it's like, oh, I give to charity and they give us money and they do all these other things. They can't be an abuser. Don't y'all realize that a lot of times in certain situations, that's the mask? That, oh yeah, if I give a little crumbs, or if I do this for this company or whatever, then all the other sinister things that I've done underneath, nobody's going to pay attention to that. They won't believe it. This has happened many a times, and not just the Changelas, but it's other people who play in that wheelhouse of doing that. Now, Dakota's complaint is the second civil lawsuit alleging SA filed against Pierce. Daniel McGarrigle, a former production assistant during Pierce's time on We're Here, filed a lawsuit against the actor and their former employee, Buckingham Television. The lawsuit, filed in May of 2023, initially alleged Pierce R-worded McGarrigle after a rap party in Ruston, Louisiana. McGarrigle claimed he threw up from drinks provided by Pierce. Later that night, McGarrigle alleged he woke up in Pierce's hotel room to the actor rubbing his meat popsicle against his booty cheeks. Well, I should say his peach, because you got to watch certain words. But I already said it, so whatever. Attempting to insert himself into his anus. Now, the party settled the lawsuit out of court through Brettler. Pierce profusely denied the allegations. Buckingham Television didn't respond to requests for comment at the time. They said HBO rep said in May of 2023 that a production company received a complaint last summer, 2021. Late summer 2021, regarding an incident that was alleged to have occurred in early 2020. Buckingham and HBO take the safety and well-being of the personnel on our shows very seriously, and Buckingham immediately launched an investigation. And they said there was insufficient evidence to support these allegations. But after that, I don't know if y'all was paying attention, but after the whole thing, they didn't find no insufficient evidence or whatever the case was, right? Chandler was out of a job. Eureka was out of a job, and Bob the Drag Queen was out of a job. Now, Bob has still continued to have a career, and shout out to them. And regardless, I live for Bob. And Eureka was going back and forth with her drug abuse and all the other stuff, but she said she cleaned out. Good for you, sis. But in regards to all of this other stuff, Shangela continued to work too. We don't see her a lot on TV and things, but she's been out here doing charity events and performing in drag, in clubs and bars and doing events within the whole drag situation. They still giving her, excuse me, they still giving her things, and people say, like, why haven't y'all canceled her? There's been way too many stories out here regarding her abusing people. I believe if we talk about Dakota is the 7th person that has come forward in regards of what's been going on. So now last March, Rolling Stone published an investigation into 5 allegations of SA against Pierce. As part of the investigation, 4 people alleged that Pierce provided alcohol before they found themselves in his hotel room or home. All 4 reportedly regaining consciousness at different points throughout the night, allegedly finding Pierce either SAing them or watching as an unknown man penetrated them when they were too drunk to consent. The 5th accuser alleged Pierce attempted to penetrate them despite rejecting advances. So people think, oh, because Shangela's so little. And, you'd be surprised how some people, regardless of their height, I don't know why people sit up here and do that ableism shit. Just because you 5'2" don't necessarily mean you ain't got the strength of Goliath. And trust and believe, I've come across some short, strong people. And clearly, allegedly, according to this rumor, Shangela has to drug you in order to keep you incapacitated, not able to fight back, so that way they can get their rock. So maybe that's their kink. But at some point, these allegations need to be taken seriously before this bitch is canceled from our situation for good. So they said McGarrigle and a man named Helmer, one of the accusers in the original Rolling Stone article, who declined to reveal his last name for work retaliation concerns, both filed police reports about their allegations. They said both men have not heard any updates from police regarding the investigations. So yeah, that's the latest on this story right now. And so I will definitely be keeping you abreast of the story as it develops. I'm actually glad that Dakota has come forward and had finally filed the paperwork. I hope that my friend, I don't want to say their name or reveal who they are, but they work in the industry. If they find the strength within themselves to file, I hope that they do it as well. But it's in your own time. Whenever you feel the need to do it, that's great. Also, Dakota, if you want, definitely come on the show. I would love to have you on. Like I had Dakota on. We could sit and talk about the whole situation if you can, unless there's legal situations that you can't speak on. But yeah, the invitation is open to you. I have posted things online with him and he has given like a little subtle like whatever, and I'm like, that's a good enough response. Sometimes people don't really want to. It takes a lot to come forward and a lot of courage to come forward with this kind of situation, especially men don't want to admit that abuses happen to them, especially the way our country treats people, our legal system, the police, and the police force, the way they treat men if you've been abused or whatever. So I can totally understand, and kudos to you for coming forward. And so shout out to you. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story and this latest development on a new charge up against Shangela for being a nasty old pervert and abusing her damn power? So I will definitely keep you guys abreast of the story as it further develops. But in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from you. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.